the problem with all of it, when you think about it, is how much they lied to us all along. The Biden machine just lied and lied and lied and lied through their teeth. I mean, I was like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't actually show you the video of him really seeming off his game and show you that and present it and talk about that. I had to always qualify it and say, well, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a doctor, but hey, you know what? I know what I'm looking at here. I know that it's not like some spring chicken that's in the prime of his existence. No way. There's no possible way. And yet the media insisted during the whole time, lying to us. A new report just came out in the Wall Street Journal, and they're talking all about how Biden has been suffering, and he was suffering from day one. Normally, a president meets regularly with their Treasury Secretary, but he couldn't meet with Janet Yellen. Normally, they meet with the Department of Homeland Security, but he couldn't meet with Mayorkas. He couldn't do any of these meetings. Everything had to go through intermediaries because he was slipping, and he's slipping fast. We're just hoping he makes it to January 20th. But remember how they told us all this.
I think he's better than he's ever been, intellectually, analytically, because he's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used
This is Morning Joe. This is Joe Scarborough, just lying through his teeth, trying to say this is the best he's ever been, the best Biden you've ever been. Wow.
to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what, I don't really care. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it. And you...
Yeah, right. And you wonder why your ratings are plummeting and everyone at your network's getting fired right about now, and your president of your network's about to get fired as well, and they're actually spinning off your network to get as far away from that as they possibly can at Comcast. I mean, this is truly unbelievable. So I just wanted to highlight like a couple of these things. Again, he was so ill that he couldn't do these like regular things, like meet with his Treasury Secretary. He didn't take meetings. He had to have his day structured between, 10 and 4 because he couldn't stay up late and he couldn't get up early, for goodness sakes. I thought Jesse Waters did a good recap on it. Here, take a listen.
I'm not even going to ask a question on that. It's so absurd. Jesse, they say that the 50 sources say they noticed in the first few months that he couldn't handle things. But do you remember they're using COVID as an excuse for him not to campaign, not to get out there and to have the basement campaign where, remember, cars, they would beep if they supported Joe Biden? There were 8 of them.
Yeah, so they kept the COVID structure throughout the rest of the presidency. And he was treated like an aging dictator, an aging king. The same things they said about Trump were true of him. He was isolated. He was out of touch. He was mentally unfit. People were keeping things from him. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't give him bad polling. They wouldn't give him bad headlines. He was AWOL during the lead up to Afghanistan. People were trying to get him on the phone at key moments. Yeah. There's no way to get a hold of the guy. And he delegated his presidential powers to his staff, Judge. So when people ask, well, who's really the president? It was his staff. His staff were executing the duties of the president. And I think it was April 2021, right out of the gate, they were canceling meetings because he was having a bad day. So all this conspiracy theory about, Joe Biden shot, he's a puppet, it was true. I mean, at this point, we're going to find out he stole the election from Trump. At this point, the way things are going.
Jesse?
I'm just saying.
Why is he getting in trouble for that? By the way, you're allowed to talk about that now. You actually are. It's been sanctioned. You can talk about it. But he's getting in trouble. I'm just going to share with you a little from the Wall Street Journal article. And they point out that presidents always have gatekeepers. Quote, but in Biden's case, the walls around him were higher and the controls greater. According to Democrat lawmakers, donors, and aides who worked for Biden and other administrations, there were limits over who could speak with Biden, limits on what they said to him, limits around the sources of information he consumed. Throughout his presidency, a small group of aides stuck close to Biden to assist him, especially when traveling or speaking to the public. They body him to such a high degree, a person who witnessed it said, adding that handholding is unlike anything any other recent presidents have ever had. I mean, senior advisors were often put into roles that some administration officials and lawmakers thought Biden should occupy, with people such as NSA, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Senior Counselor Steve Ricchetti, and National Economic Council head Lael Brainard, and her predecessor, frequently in the position of being go-betweens for the president, said they were making the decision. So, in other words, there was a staff that was running it. Biden wasn't running anything. And so we just got to have to hope that he hangs on, right? Hangs on until January 20th. But already, you look at what's going down, everything's going down in Mar-a-Lago right now. Trump is already taking over. He's talking about taking over also the Panama Canal and Denmark's Greenland, and doing a whole lot more when it comes to Mexico. So a lot's happening, but it's not coming out of the Biden White House.